Good afternoon to our attendees and partners. My name is Immaculate Kassait. I am the Data Protection Commissioner from Kenya. We are happy to partner with Lawyers Hub in this year's African Law Tech Festival 2021. In today's topic, I'll be speaking to you on numerous things. One of them, I will be looking at some of the lessons learned from Kenya. Kenya being a new data protection institution, which is hardly 1 year. We have lessons we have learned, and we would like to share with you during today's deliberation. Secondly, I'll be sharing with you some of the opportunities that are available to lawyers and people in this space of data protection. And thirdly, I'll be contextualizing data protection in as far as what we call in Kenya, the Kenya Digital Economy Blueprint. When it comes to issues by data protection, one of the key lessons learned from Kenya is one, being there are huge public expectations. The members of the public have expectation that now their data is protected. As a data commissioner, my role is to be able to manage those expectations so that we are able to walk this journey together. The other expectation, of course, a key lesson learned is because of the culture we have as a continent, we run quite quickly to do what we call enforcement. Yet, awareness creation remains a key issue in as far as data protection is concerned. Just to give context so that as I speak about compliance, the Data Protection Act in Kenya came as a result of one of the key issues of Kenya Digital Economy Blueprint. And the Kenya Economy Blueprint has 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars of the Kenya Economy Blueprint are the digital governance, digital business, digital infrastructure, innovation-driven entrepreneurship, digital skills, and values. What was noted is that data protection is a cross-cutting issue in the digital economy. As Kenya, we see data protection as an opportunity to be able to create the business environment more conducive for purposes of making this country more attractive for investment. It's important to put a little bit more effort on awareness creation and compliance, even as we focus on enforcement. And the reason being, people have always shared the information in whichever way. Nobody asks a question. For instance, if you walk into a laundry shop and they ask you, what is your name? You easily give your name. What is your address? You easily give them your address. What is your phone number? You easily give them your phone number. With data protection, we are beginning a culture of change, a culture to begin asking yourself, what does this data mean to so many people? And that culture is what we require us as data protection institution in Africa to shift the mind. We create more awareness to members of the public so that even as we embark on compliance and finally on enforcement, people have an appreciation of what data protection is. Another key lesson for us as a country is the need for resourcing for data protection institution across Africa. It's important because data protection is becoming a core issue as far as data protection is concerned. And if we want to ensure that data protection is ingrained into our culture, into our ethos, we need to be able to resource data protection institutions across the African continent for them to be able to embark on that. It is no easy task, I know. But however, I have faith that as the African continent moves towards data protection, those are some of the conversations that we'll be having. The other lesson learned, of course, there's expectation that data protection is only automated. However, we always have to remember that data protection, it also affects files. And in this case, for lawyers, because data protection is important, you also have to remember, how do you keep your files for your client? Do you keep them in a safe? Do you lock the registry? Who has access to this information? Of course, a lot of information being manual is something that we have to look into in terms of a continent. So what opportunities are there in terms of data protection? For whether you're an ICT, whether you're a lawyer, some of the opportunity is it's important for us to repurpose. You have to start asking yourself, how can my business or how can I advise my clients, whether as data subject or data controllers, to be able to comply with data protection? The opportunities on training because many people, like I've said, with the level of awareness in Africa not being sufficient, there's an opportunity for you to create training and for people to be able to embark on training data controllers and data processors. So it's important for people to be able to train as data protection officers or offer that service to other institutions. The other opportunity in the data protection is issues around audits, because any institution would want to undertake compliance audits to see whether they are complying with the Data Protection Act. So there's an opportunity there for people to be able to do that. The other one is data protection impact assessment. The Data Protection Act, at least the one in Kenya, expects that before you embark on undertaking any project that constitutes sensitive data, you are required to undertake what we call a data protection impact assessment. To undertake that, institution may require you to come on board to help them in that, and that lies at an opportunity for the profession in terms of conducting data protection impact assessment. There are many opportunities, and it's important, given the significance of data protection, for individuals in the legal profession or in ICT profession to begin repurposing their work. I would like to emphasize that the Data Protection Act insists that you must have data protection by default or design. What this means is that institutions are expected to comply as far as data protection is concerned. So in terms of the experience of Kenya, we are just beginning the journey as far as data protection is concerned. We have been in office for the last 7 months. The Data Protection Act came into force in 2019. So we are on a journey. I believe some of the thought processes and conversation that we should be having is issues around collaboration, partnership, discussion with other institutions across the African continent to ask themselves, what are these we can pull together? And also, of course, perhaps the time has come for us to ratify a regional convention for data protection to become one of the priorities areas in the African continent. Because when we talk about data protection and when we protect data, we are making the business environment for Kenya and for the African continent as a whole more conducive. It means we are beginning to ask, how do we conduct business in an ethical manner so that data protection is right in the middle of our businesses? We begin to see consumers or data subject having a say in terms of how the information is utilized. So when we do that, we don't see them as a commodity, we see them as people who are building into this space and helping us to do businesses in a more ethical manner. And when you do business ethically, then you're likely to prosper, even movement to greater heights. The other thing I would like to emphasize in as far as the data protection thought process is concerned is the issue around people thinking about data protection by design in their businesses. So that you're not just doing data protection because you've been asked to do it, or you're waiting when there's an enforcement notice in your business that you start then complying. You have to start from when you conceptualize you want to conduct a specific business, ask yourself, what are the likely risks? How will we mitigate these risks? That way, you're beginning to embrace data protection from when you actually collect information to when you process it, to when you dispose it, or to when you actually analyze it. It is a whole, you have to think of it from end to end as far as data protection is concerned. I'm happy to be here, and I am glad that we are joined from people from across Africa, and we certainly look forward to great deliberation today and the coming days. Thank you.